this is really random, but I had a realization that like while just a little bit about me, I like thrifting outfits and like pairing things, making things a little bit funky. I don't know. I've been like experimenting more with fashion is what I'm meaning to say. Hello. And while I love that, and here is some proof, I find, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I wonder if like other readers or maybe even other booktubers find this. When I'm like making a video talking about books, I just like put on something cozy, because there's something with reading, even if I'm reading like the most serious book, like about very like intense themes or whatever, I just like to be cozy. Like I just put on a hoodie and I'm like, this is a cozy activity, even just talking about books. So I don't know. Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. I'm Lindsay, and as I said last week, I'm doing some Halloween book recs. I don't have as many books as I would have liked to recommend because, one, I didn't get through all the books I wanted to get through this month. Got a little busy. As I said in this video, there were a few days where I was like quite sick, and I still have, it's not the end of October yet, so I know I'm gonna finish one more book, but just did not get through all the ones that I wanted to, and one of them was another like spooky book that I was hoping to be able to recommend, but it's fine. Also, I didn't want to repeat a lot of the ones I said in the last video and the witchy video, though those are definitely ones that you can read on Halloween. Even the X-Hex, I didn't put that in here, even though it probably would have been a good one too, because like I said, majority of it takes place on Halloween. So that's a really good Halloween recommendation. I'm just gonna start off saying that. I didn't put that in there, but if you want to hear about it, check out my last video. I did pick one witchy book, and now I'm thinking I probably should pick one, but I did just pick my favorite. And I did like that one, but there was another witchy book that I just personally like more. And so that is in this, but for the majority of them, there are books that I did not talk about in the last video. It's a very long way of saying that, but I do think if you are looking specifically for a witchy book to read today on Halloween, or next year on Halloween, the X-Hex is a good one, and I talk about that in that video if you want to hear about it. And even though today is Halloween, these are good ones that you can read next year, or like keep it going, keep Halloween up in November. Like, I don't think Halloween has to end. Until my birthday in December, it's Halloween. Okay, getting into the recommendations. I'm starting off with what I call a gothic romantasy, so I think it's a good Halloween recommendation, One Dark Window. I haven't talked about this book in a minute, but I love it so much. Sorry, I paused. There was like a weird reflection on my viewfinder that I thought was the camera being like, I can't do this anymore, but the camera's fine. So this story is about Elspeth. Again, I haven't talked about this book in a while, so I'm like, how do I even say that again? Elspeth, though I love this book, who lives in a kingdom called Blunder that is locked off from other kingdoms by this dark magic-infused mist. She was infected as a child, and it gave her this magic that caused her mind to be inhabited by something called the Nightmare. She can hear its voice and see its spooky, scary yellow eyes, and like she can fight better with the Nightmare's help. We also learn that she was cast out by her dad and taken care of by her aunt for years, which is good because her aunt's house is like in the middle of the woods, and because of this infection that she has, she is in danger. She has to keep it hidden, because if she goes into town, she has to be very careful not to get caught by someone called the Physician and the Destroyers. I can't remember if I'm saying that right, but they're like the king's elite soldiers, because they are trying to exterminate this infection. So her family does know she has the infection. They do have to keep that a secret, but they don't know about the nightmare in her head. It is not a definitive symptom of the infection. It is just something that she specifically has, because this infection, while this entire kingdom deals with this infection, it is very specific to each person. There's also something that, though it's rare, it is very important to the story, and that is called Providence cards. They are rare in the story, but they're important to the magic system and also Elspeth's story. You don't have to have the infection to use them, though, that anyone can use their magic to a degree. Anyway, Elspeth has gotten used to her life as this hidden away infected person until she goes with her family to something called the Equinox, where she meets the king's nephew, and she is thrown into this quest of trying to put an end to this dark magic infused mist and, you know, learns more about the world and about the magic. Also the kingdom, the history, the lore, all that, that's also important to the story. It's such a good story. I think the world building is really well done. It's also, it does a really good job of like developing the characters and revealing their secrets, because as the story goes on, she has to deal more with the way the nightmare is evolving and her own secrets, and then finding out other character secrets. It's definitely, hello? It's definitely like my favorite duology. I've definitely recommended it before. I know I have, but even though it's been a while since I've talked about it, I don't think I will ever stop. I think that there will be future videos where I talk about this book because I love it so much, and I felt like it was a good recommendation for this video because it is, like I said, a romantasy, but it has gothic influence for sure. This next one I'm actually only halfway through. But I will be finishing it before the end of October, so hear more of a review in my October reading wrap-up. But it is Serpents in the Wings of Night. I have read enough to give a synopsis, and I do think it's a really good read for Halloween, so I'm gonna talk about it. So this book is about Araya. She was taken from her district after it was ravaged by vampires. She was taken by the king of the House of Night. So she's raised by this king, Vincent, and he teaches her how to survive as a human in this vampire world. He trains her, and part of this involves entering this tournament called the Kajari. It is a Hunger Games style tournament where there could be one winner. There is, of course, the killing off of other contestants, and it is in the honor of this goddess Neaxia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it is, the series is called like the Crowns of Neaxia World, I think, series, story, something like that. And she is a goddess, and it is done in her honor, and so the winner, as far as we know, gets granted something from her. Given that it's a book about vampires, I felt like it would be a good read for Halloween, a good Halloween recommendation, though you could definitely read any of these books at any time, just to be clear. I lost my train of thought. But it is a romantasy that I believe is popular online. I've definitely seen it online, but I have enjoyed it more than other books that fit that description of being like popular romantasies online. Oops. It's one that I've enjoyed. Like, One Dark Window is also popular online, and I like that a lot. But there are some other popular ones that I have mentioned before that I like didn't like as much, but this one so far, like I said, I'm only halfway through, but where it is right now, I'm like, yeah, I like this. Like, I'm wanting to read it. I'm not like super hyper focused on it right now, but I do think it is going to be one that I very much enjoy. I mean, I already am enjoying it, but just like, yeah. I mean, the second half, we hope it doesn't ruin it, but there have been other books that I liked, and then like just the way the second half was, I was like, it lost me, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Hopefully. Of course, it would not be a spooky Halloween books recommendation without the one and only, the classic, the OG Dracula. So at first, this book follows Jonathan Harker, who he is going to stay with someone called the Count for work reasons, and slowly starts to feel like things with this Count and with his like mansion are off, his estate. The whole vibe's rancid. I try not to use internet lingo when I recommend books, but I had to say it. He learns more and more about the Count as he's staying there. Through observation, he starts to see things that are abnormal, like the Count, crawling down the side of the window in a lizard fashion, as it says in the book, and it's just like, I don't know, I think if I saw that, I think it's kind of slay. I'd be like, that's honestly kind of cool. Anyway, another character is Mina, who is Jonathan's fiance, and then she has her best friend Lucy, who's betrothed to someone named Arthur, but she did turn down 2 other men before being betrothed to Arthur, which is kind of important to the story. So all the characters end up getting more and more involved as the story goes on. We're also like, new characters get involved, and it is a other characters I haven't mentioned at least get involved. It is just the classic vampire story, as you know, like many things are modeled after it, Nosferatu. And yeah, I like I said, I had to recommend it for Halloween. I also think it's a bit of a mystery at times. I saw people compare like the main characters in this book to the like Scooby-Doo gang, and I'm like, I kind of see it. Like I kind of get where you're getting that comparison from, because it's a lot of like trying to figure out trying to make a plan, trying to formulate a plan and like figure out what exactly is causing these things, like what is it. But yeah, that's definitely, I think, if you've never read Dracula, if you like vampires, if you want to read more of the classics, I definitely recommend that book. I think it is one of my favorite classics for sure. So finally, for this section of the video, a very secret society of irregular witches. I said it right this time. I recommended this in the last video, so I'm going to try to keep my synopsis short. My foot decided to fall asleep. Very disrespectful. I'm sitting in such a strange way because of this foot. Why can I not say ours right now? I said strange. So this book is about Micah Moon, who is a part of a secret society of witches. In this world, witchcraft is very much kept secret. You cannot let humans know that you are a witch. So Micah feels very isolated and lonely because of that. But she does make YouTube videos where she pretends to be a witch, and she ends up getting recruited by someone who can kind of see that there is some magic about her, like actual real magic about her, to a place called Nowhere House, where she is asked to teach 3 young witches to help train them and control their powers. There she befriends the other caretakers and even has a romantic storyline with one of them. It is a very cozy, very cute read. It's just very sweet and heartwarming. So if you're looking for more of a cozier, less dark, spooky, just like happy witches, I would recommend this book for sure. Okay, so the next section of this video, I didn't really talk about this up top, but I did in my recommendations decide to make a little section for younger readers, because I thought of some that I read when I was younger, because I do think I read more like vampire spooky stories then than I do now. I really was into like fae in the past couple of years, so I didn't read as much spooky vampire stories. And I've been like, I'm gonna be so honest, I keep getting interrupted by burps. I have been trying just like other like classic fantasy and just like contemporary. I tried contemporary romance. I didn't like a lot of what I read. And lit fic, I've been trying those stuff. So I've been trying other genres, and like, I don't know, when I was a kid I read like vampire stuff and like Percy Jackson, you know. So long story short, first one I'm recommending is Vampire Academy, which I'm pretty sure this is also popular online, and I completely forgot I read them until I saw people talking about them online. Because I read these books maybe in middle school, maybe beginning of high school, but they are quite literally about a academy of vampires. But not everyone at the academy is a vampire. There are also humans studying there. I think they're like half humans that are studying there to protect the vampires, because there's also like bad vampires out there that you gotta like protect. Like I believe she's the protagonist. She's like a vampire princess, but she's like with the good vampires. Anyway, the point is that it is a cliched story. It is just like nothing too crazy, but I remember enjoying it, and it is definitely a bit like steamy. I don't think there's explicit smut. I don't remember. I mean, like Storygraph or something like that will have any sort of, I don't want to say warning, but I guess it's kind of a warning if that's something like you're trying to stay away from on there. So I would look into that, but I do remember, like, I don't know, it's like a teen book, you know? So this next book, Dark Souls, is not about the video game. It is about an American family that goes to York for the mom's job. They're there temporarily, but the teenage girl, the protagonist, she has seen her best friend's ghost before, so she can see ghosts. And York, England is supposedly haunted. This is a real life town. So of course, you know, girl can see ghosts, goes to a haunted town, you know? She also meets a teenage boy who can also see ghosts. So the storyline kind of goes from there. It is a very short book, so that's why this synopsis is also short. But it's really cute. I think it was really heartwarming, though it is, like, you know, it's spooky, there's ghosts, so, but yeah. I think it's more middle grade, but it's a cute read. Okay, lastly, Howl's Moving Castle. Y'all know I love this book. Many people love this book. Is it really spooky? No. But there's like witches and stuff, so I felt like I could recommend it in this video. So Sophie is the eldest of 3 daughters, which means she simply must have the worst fate. And she ends up getting cursed by the Witch of the Waste. You hate when that happens. Happens to every eldest daughter. So she ends up being turned from the Witch of the Waste into an elderly woman, and she has to leave home because it's like, I can't stay here looking like this. So she ends up going to and ending up at Howl's moving castle. It's a castle that moves, like it quite literally like walks. And while the plane goes by, we're just gonna stretch. We're just gonna do a little stretch. Okay, you probably can't hear that plane anymore. So Howl is this wizard that's like moody and mysterious and of course attractive. And Sophie ends up staying at his moving castle and going on a journey with Howl and a fire demon and Michael. You know Michael. So much happens. I don't think the synopsis really does it justice, but it is an adventurous story and a heartwarming story, and you just have to read it. You just simply have to read it. I cannot recommend it more. Same with like One Dark Window. I think I read them both, One Dark Window and Howl's Moving Castle. They're both in videos, like if you go back, but I think I read them both last year, and they're a really good reading year last year. I read some really good books, so highly recommend these for Halloween. I just thought I'd do. I know it is Halloween, so it's like, what are you doing recommending Halloween books on Halloween? Like, it's too late. First of all, it's not too late. That's a quitter's attitude. Second of all, like, Halloween is not over just because it's over, technically. Like, why can't it just be Halloween all the time? But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will do another video next week. I believe that'll be my October reading wrap-up. And I do long videos every week. And shorts just like when I have them to post. So yeah, again, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye. There's a plane flying overhead. What you doing that for? Okay, it's gone.